Why is AI training capacity potentially more important than the actual AI you choose? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about hammers, actually. And one, starting with, why is this part curved? This is not what we do. I've seen people try to pull out the nail by just pulling with the claw of the hammer. You actually want to use leverage, right? So you are pulling, using this as the fulcrum to pull out the nail, and it's a lot easier. But you don't know that unless you've been trained to use the claw of the hammer. So, of course, you see here is a hammer, and it's got many different uses. But in the world of AI, right now we are having the commoditization of models. Each of the major companies out there, the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, Gemini, are working on just sort of making a better hammer, right? And they're getting better, mind you, right? I'm very impressed with Sonnet. I'm very impressed with O1, O2, O3 previews. And we're going to be into this year, right, where we're having a much better hammer, but it's still a hammer. And as they get commoditized, right, as Gemini, Flash 2 and above begin to come out, there's only so good we're going to make these hammers, which means to get more out of them, we're going to have to learn how to better use them. Actually, it's pretty common for people to use this thing incorrectly. If I hand your team a whole bunch of hammers, there's a good chance there's a number of people that don't know actually how to use the claw part of this hammer correctly to pull out a nail. Seriously though, give me a second, hold on. That when there is a nail in a board, the right way to do it is to use it as a fulcrum, right? Using the fulcrum, leverage, is a great metaphor for when I am able to look at a team and say, hey, it's one thing to hand you this hammer, and it's another thing to give you the proper training to leverage it, to get the most out of it. And what's more, not to hurt yourself or the organization by, for instance, holding it so you're slamming your hammer down into the nail, right? If we're full weight, oh my gosh, I almost did it. This is an example. But a lot of folks don't realize that if you're starting off with the hammer, you want to tap slowly. Test. You get it in there. Then I can take my hand away, and then I can have at it without mashing my hand. And that's just a hammer. That's a pretty simple tool. Imagine now your investment in AI. You're looking at the prices of these, again, commoditized models, which just means they're interchangeable. They're so good they're interchangeable, and we're reaching that asymptotic point, that point of diminishing return of the current approach to building models that, look, they're all pretty darn good enough for what you're trying to do. They're a pretty darn good hammer. Yes, there's going to be bigger hammers that come out, but you're able to achieve 90% of what you need with this thing, which means now you have to also think about the training, the capacity building, the knowledge of how not to hurt yourself with the hammer, how to get the most out with the leverage of this tool. I hope I made this point enough, because I'm seeing a lot of people kind of only look at the costs of the model in terms of pricing per user, per seat, per whatever, and not realize that you really also have to invest in the training. I hope that helps, and be careful with your hammers. I want to take a second to show you how Whole Whale, our marketing and analytics agency focused on nonprofits, helps build AI capacity for clients and customers. So we have built CauseWriter.ai for great organizations looking to do things like working on copywriting, grant writing, newsletter writing. You can see here, create a quick grant outline for Power Poetry. And it helps you create things much faster and with your own brand and information on it. So we'd love to talk if you're interested at CauseWriter.ai. And of course, we do offer trainings for nonprofits.